9001 2015 means International Organization for Standardizations. Fifth edition means ISO 9001 2015 is a fifth version of ISO 9001. Actually, it is a standard for quality management system standard. We are going to discuss about class 1 to class 10 and basics of ISO 9001 2015. Actually, after World War II, countries are realized that we need to manufacture the common standard. Means we need to manufacture the equipment and things at common standard, common quality management standard. That that is the reason they are developed the ISO. Actually, in starting they have the military standard. After that, some are follows their own standard. Some are follow the VDA standard. Some countries are follows France standard. Some follows Italian standards. That every countries are follow their own standard, own quality management systems, and the equipment they are manufacturing. And during World War, they realized that the equipment are not fit in other machinery. That's why the reason, because they are manufacturing different quality management system. That's they realized that we need to manufacture a common quality management system. That is the basis for development of ISO. ISO is International Organization for Standardization. Actually, ISO derived from Greek word that is isos. Isos meaning is equal. ISOs is actually worldwide federation of national standard bodies. ISO first found in 1947, which is in London, United Kingdom, and first written as first edition is 1987. Means ISO 9001 is a quality management system requirement, and ISO 9000 actually is normative references of ISO 9000, that is for quality management system fundamental and vocabulary. If we are going to discuss about the history of ISO 9001, then first we have the military standard, means military specs. After that, they developed the NATO standards, and after that VS 5750 means British standards, and after that ISO is arrived, means ISO 9001 1987 first written, and 1994 first edition is the means first revision is there, and after that second revision is there 2000, and 2008 is third, and fourth revision is 2015, means fifth edition is 2015. This is the revision history. First minor revision is ISO 9001 1987 to ISO 9001 1994, and first major revision is ISO 9001 1994 to 2000, and third means second minor revision is that is ISO 9001 2000 to 2008, and second major revision, that is fourth revision, is ISO 9001 to 2015, 2008 to 2015. This is actually the introduction and evolution of ISO 9001. First was the military spec and military standard. After that, VS standard is developed, and in between formation of technical committees like ISO TC 176. This is technical committee, that is first written ISO in 1982, and first edition is published in 1987. And in between VSIA BIS means Bureau of Indian Standard, that is adopted the same series 1987, means that is IS ISO 9001 become. And after that ISO 9001 1994 is second edition is published, and after sometimes third edition ISO 9001 2000 is published, and fourth edition is ISO 9001 2008, and current edition is, that is fifth edition, that is ISO 9000 2015 version. Voting criteria to make a standard, actually all country in the world is 184, means ISO have almost all countries, means near about 164 active members. Actually the active member is a country, and this active member may be decreases and increases as they are attending the as a meeting. For making any standard, country gives their voting. If voting is greater than 75%, mean standard in favor of standard, then standard will make. And if voting is 75 to 66, then TS word is added, that is technical specification. And if voting is less than 76, it means less than 66 to 50%, then PS, publicly available specification, is added. And voting is less than 50%, then no standard will be made. ISO is a standard. ISO and IATF both are private, and ISO and TS is not a standard. Actually, ISO is a standard, but TS is not a standard. IATF is a standard. Actually, ISO TC, technical committee, that's write the standard. But how to write the standard, that tells about the Annex SL. ISO TC, technical committee, that 176, that written ISO 9001, and other committee is written ISO 14 and 45001. What is BIS and ISI? Is BIS and ISI are same? BIS is Bureau of Indian Standard and ISI is Indian Standard Institute. Actually, ISI mark provided by BIS because BIS adapted and take over the ISI. Means BIS is a quality management organization, is responsible for providing the quality and certification as ensuring the quality, stability, reliability for goods for individuals, and ISI is meant for a quality standard set by the Indian government. ISI actually is BIS actually is taking over by the BIS, means ISI is taking over by the BIS, and means if we are taking the BIS certification, then ISI mark will be provided. Next is Annex SL, means guideline how to write a standard. Annex SL actually previous old name is ISO Guide 83. That is replaces Annex SL. That is now Guide as ISO 83 is replaced by Annex SL and rename again Annex L. Annex L means L is large and Annex SL is structure large. That is means they have 10 clause structure, common terms and definition, code text. Means ISO 14001 and 2015 will have 10 clauses, and 45000 and 2018 will also have the 10 clauses because of Annex SL. What are the differences in terminology of ISO TS, IATF, and ISO 9001, 2015, ISO 9001, 2008? Actually, in ISO 9001 we have uses products, and in 9001 2015 version we uses the products and services. Exclusions, in place of exclusion we are now using not use, and management representative, that is not used actually, but responsibilities are more and clear. It means similar responsibilities. And documentations, quality manual, documented procedure record now replaces by documented informations, and work environment also replaces by environment for the operation of processes. Monitoring and measuring equipment is now replaced by the monitoring and measuring resources. Purchase product, that is also replaced by the externally provided product and services. Supplier is replaced by the external provided. And these are the some terminology that are added in ISO 9000 and 2015, that is Annex L. Clarification of new structure, terminology and concept, structure and terminology, product and services, understanding needs and expectations of interested party, risk-based thinking, applicability, documented informations, organization knowledge, control of externally provided processes, products and services. And Annex B, like other information standard on quality management and quality management system developed by ISO TC 17. These are the new requirements. And next array, like control plan, phases of control plan, and elements of control plan, bibliography, that is same in ISO 9000 2008 versus ISO 9000 2015 version. These are the quality management principle. Actually, we have already made videos on quality management principle, means 7 quality management principle, and that link we will provided in the end of this video in description box. And what is quality management principle? What are the 7 quality management principle actually? Seven quality management principle is actually is first is customer focus, and second is leadership, and third is engagement of people, and fourth is process, and fifth is improvement, and sixth is evidence based decision making, and seventh is relationship management. Now first is customer focus. What is customer focus? Customer focus means what is the customer rating, what are the customer requirement, what are the additional requirement, what are the customer specific requirement we need to fulfill their requirement. Second is leadership. What is leadership? Actually leadership, who can take accountability, means leader create leaders. Everybody who can take accountabilities, that is leader. And engagement of peoples means engagement of freshers, engagement of youngsters. How we can engage the our freshers, our youngsters in the work, in workplace also. Fourth is process approach. Process approach means process is actually set of interrelated or interacting activities to convert input into output, that is process. And process approach means every process has procedure, and every big process is made up of some small processes. That is actually if you have a bigger process, means that the bigger process is made up of some small processes. And in case of chain of processes, every process have input and output, and the output of first process is it become input of second process, and the input of second and the output of the second process will be input of the third process, and so on. That this concept known as the process approach. Process approach, we should knowledge about the turtle diagram. Turtle diagram are inputs, outputs, what are the required to making to useful for this input, means with what we are making the inputs to be with what we are converting the input into output, and what are their effectiveness and efficiency in outputs. And if any lapse in if any gaps are observed in the output, then we should take the corrective actions. And improvements. Improvements means the enhanced activities is known as improvement, and means improvement is like continual improvement, like continuous improvement. Continual improvement means recurring activities to enhance performance is known as improvements. And continuous improvement means we are doing the improvement with reference to time. If any mishappening or false means if any mishappening will happen, that we can fall to zero improvements. But in continual improvement, if any mishappening happen, then we can back one step, and rest improvement is showing. And examples of improvement is like rework, repair, like correction, like corrective actions, like preventive actions are the example of the improvements. And evidence based decision making. Evidence based decision making means we should data, means okng judgment should be based on data. And relationship management means what are the relation with your supplier, your customer, your employees, your contractuals, what is relation with your transporter, your logistic services, your certification bodies. Means relationship management tells about the relationship with all interested parties. This is the seven quality management principles. Now this is the abbreviation of several quality management principles, that is clipper. Means first is customer focus is C, letter C, and leadership letter L, engagement of people is E, and process approach is P, improvement I, and evidence based decision making is E, and relationship management R, that is clipper. What is the goal of ISO 9001 2015? Actually, first goal is continual improvement, and second is emphasizing defect preventions, and third is reduction of variation and waste in supply chain. Variation means Six Sigma, waste means lean manufacturing. This is the how to read the standards. SIL is mandatory, and should is recommendations, and note is guidance or clarification, such as this guidance only. For philosophy of standard is what to do and how to do, that standard cannot tell. And for how to do, we need to make your procedures and WISOPs and work standards. This is the overview of ISO 9001 2015. First is this is the structure of actually ISO 9001 2015. First is scope, second is normative references, third is terms and definition, and fourth is context of the organization, fifth is leadership, sixth is planning, seventh is support, eighth is operation, and ninth is performance evolutions, and tenth is improvement. What is the scope of ISO 9000 or 2015? Actually, ISO 9001 is standard requirement are generic and used intended to applicable to any organization, regardless of its size or type or products or services. And second one is needed to demonstrate its ability to consistently provide products and services that meet customer and applicable statutory and regulatory requirements. That is means legal requirement. Aims to enhance customer satisfaction through the effective application of system and the assurance of conformity to customer and applicable statutory and regulatory requirement. What is the normative reference in ISO 9000? That is ISO 9000 2015. That is QMS, fundamental and vocabularies. These are the terms and definition uses in ISO 9001 2015. That is, first is organizations, means person or group of people that has the own function with responsibility, authority, and relationship to achieve its objective, known as organization. Second is interested party. Interested party, persons or organization that can affect, be affected, or perceive themselves to be affected by the decision or activism, known as interested party. Requirements, needs or expectations that is stated, generally implied or obligatory. Management system, set of interrelated or interacting elements of an organization to establish policy and objective and processes to achieve them. Those objectives is known as management system. Top management means person or group of people who direct and control the organization at highest level, that can take the accountability, is known as top management. Effectiveness means effectiveness, actually effectiveness is plan versus actual, target versus actual, is known as effectiveness. Extent to which planned activity are realized and planned result achieved is known as effectiveness. Policy is actually intentions and direction of organization as firmly expressed by its top management. Is objective means result to be achieved, and risk is effect of uncertainty on desired or expected results. Risk and competency is ability to apply knowledge and skill both to achieve intended result. Document information means information required to control and maintain by the organization and the medium on which it is contained. Means document information are two types. First is maintained, second is retained. Maintained is actually like manual procedures, formats, WIs, work standard, procedures. These are the maintained. Retains mean that is records. If format are filled, they are become the records. And what is process? Actually already explained. Process is set of interrelated and are interacting activity to convert input into output, is known as process. Next term is like performance, measurable result. Outsource, that is make an arrangement where an external organization perform part of a organization function on processes. Monitoring means determining the status of a system, a process, or activities. Audit, systematic independent process for obtaining objective evidence and evaluating it. Conformity, fulfillment of requirement. Non-conformity means non-fulfillment of a requirement. Corrective action, actually action eliminated the causes of non-conformity and to prevent recurrence. Continual improvement, it means recurring activity to enhance performance. These are the class number fourth, means context of the organization. Actually, context of the organization means clause number four have three subclauses. First one is understanding the organization and its context, and second in interested party, and third one is scope, and fourth one is have humus. Means there is four subclasses in context of the organization. Means clause number four have subclasses of four also. First is understanding the organization and its context. Actually, determine the external and internal issues. What are the issues of internal and external? Internal issues means related to organization's culture and their knowledge, skills, and performance. And external is like customers, like markets, competitors, and suppliers. These are the external, like certification bodies. Determine the external and internal issues relevant to purpose and strategic direction. And second is monitoring and review the information about external and internal issues. These are the external context, that is legal, technological, competitive, market, culture, social, and economic. And internal context is value, culture, knowledge, performance of the organization. Actually, this is the example how to make internal and external issues under the context of the organization. We should read carefully one by one and need to understand every example. Means like we have some issues of customer complaints. Then what is the parameters? Means number of the complaint, how we can control it. Is it is the customer issue we have happened last 6 months. If no any issues, means no any complaints happen, then that issue will be positive first. And if any complaint happen, that is negative. We need to identify their risk analysis. And this is the internal and external issues. And these are the some more examples of internal and external issues under the context of the organization. These are some more. And second is 4.2, that is understanding the needs and expectations of interested parties. List of potential interested party. Actually, interested party is first is management, business partners, investors, staff, workers, unions, and distributors, channel partners, external service providers, end users, and contract worker, corporate, shared service providers, income tax departments, like statutory bodies like judiciary, like particular committees, particular states, system certification bodies, consultants, trainers, and mediators, and any individual, staff, worker, all are comes under the interested party, potential interested parties. These are the some example to understanding the needs and expectations of interested party. Like in case of context of performance, that is internal. And if NPD time is more, then it can affect the management. And if NPD time is more, it also can affect the interested party of customer. Both can be affected by NPD time. And second example is cultural related, like internal is like absenteeism and late arrival. That is the issue that related to also the customer, and also uh, as well as the organizations. 4.3 subclass is determining the scope of QMS, and scope to include supporting functions. Means whether on site or remote. Means support function is whether on site or remote, such a design center, corporate headquarters, like distributor centers, like quality HODs are sitting at remote locations, in support function area. They are treating as support function area. They are supporting one and more organization, that is support function. And 4.3 is determining the scope of humans. The organization shall determine the boundaries. The scope means boundaries and applicability of the quality management system to establish its scope. First, when the determining the scope, the organization shall consider the external and internal issues and the requirement of relevant interested parties and product and services of the organizations. 4.4 means fourth subclass is 4.4, that is QMS and its processes. We need to maintain the quality manuals, procedures, turtle diagram, and other formats in these clauses. Uh, and determine the inputs required and the output expected from these processes, determining the sequencing and instructions of these processes, determining the apply the criteria and method, including monitoring, measurement, and related performance indicators needed to ensure the effective operation and control of these processes. Next, we determine the resources needed for these processes and assign the responsibility and authority of these processes, address the risk and opportunity, and determine in accordance with the requirement of 6.1. Evaluate these processes and implement any changes needed to ensure that these processes achieve their intended result. Improve the processes and the quality management system. 4 and 442, that is subclause of the 4.4. To the extent necessary, the organization shall maintain documented information to support the operation of its processes. Retain documented information means maintain and retain both permission to have confidence that the processes are being carried out as planned. Next class is leadership. Leadership, there have actually three subclauses. First one is leadership and commitment, second is policy, and third one is organization role, responsibility, and authority. Means 5.1 is leadership and commitment. Top management shall demonstrate. Who is leader? Leadership is top management. Top management demonstrate leadership and commitment with the respect to quality management system by taking accountability for the effective of the QMS and ensuring that quality policy and quality objective are established for the QMS. Ensuring the integrations of the QMS and promoting the use of process approach and risk-based thinking. Ensuring that the resources needed for the QMS are available and communicating the importance of the effective QMS and of conforming to the QMS requirement, ensuring that the QMS activity is its intended result, and engaging, directing and supporting person to contributing to effective of the QMS, promoting improvements, supports other relevant management roles to demonstrate their leadership and is applied to their area of responsibility. And next class is 5.12, that is customer focus. Top management shall demonstrate leadership and commitment with respect to customer focus by ensuring that customer applicable statutory requirements are met, risk and opportunity that can affect conformity of the product and services, and the ability to enhance customer satisfaction are determined and address. Customer on enhancing customer satisfaction is maintained. Next class is policy. Means 5.21 is stabilizing the quality policy. How we can stabilize the quality policy? The management shall establish, implement, and maintain a quality policy that is appropriate to the process and content of the organization and supporting its strategic direction. Second is provide a framework for setting quality objective and include a commitment to satisfy applicable requirement and include a commitment to continual improvement of the QMS. Next class is 5.22, that is communicating the quality policy. Quality policies shall be available and be maintained as documented information, be communicated, understood, and applied within the organization. Means these policies shall be available, be communicated, be available to the relevant interested party as appropriate. Next class is 5.3, that is organization role, responsibility, and authority. Top management shall ensure that the responsibility and authority for relevant roles are assigned and communicating and understood within the organization. Top management shall assign the responsibility and authority for ensuring the QMS conform to the requirement of international standard, ensuring that processes are developed their intended output, reporting on performance of the QMS and opportunity for improvements, in particular to top management, ensuring the promotion of customer focus throughout the organization, ensuring the integrity of the QMS is maintained when changes on the QMS are planned and implemented. Next is class number 6, that is planning. Planning has three subclasses. First is risk and opportunity, second is quality objective and planning to achieve them, and third one is planning of changes. First is action to address risk and opportunity. Means we need to perform here risk assessment. That issues we are arising, means if issues are negative, that we should take the uh, risk. Means we have risk, we need to risk analysis for that issues. And if issues are positive, that we need to mention in opportunity for improvement registered. If that is that issue related to external, that is the opportunity for improvement. If issue related to internal, that is the strength of the organization. And if issue related to uh, is negative and related to external, that is threat. And if issues are negative and related to internal, that become the weakness of the organization. We need to focus on negative points that related to internal or external, that is comes under the risk analysis register. We have already described risk analysis in IATF full videos. We need to see the class number 4, 5th and 6th for the risk assessment for internal external issues and need and expectations. 611, when planning to the quality management system, organizations shall consider the issues referred to 4.1 and requirement referred in 4.2. Determine the risk and opportunity that needed to be addressed to give assurance that the quality management system can achieve its intended result, enhance desirable effect, prevent and reduce undesired effect, achieve improvements. Next is 6.1, action to address risk and opportunity, that is 6.12. Organizations shall plan action to address risk and opportunity. Risk and opportunities, how to integrate and implement the action in its QMS system processes, evaluate the effectiveness of these actions. Action taken to address risk and opportunities shall be proportionate to the potential impact and conformity of the products and services. First note is option to address risk can include avoiding risk, taking risk in order to pursue an opportunity, eliminating the risk sources, changing the likelihood, consequences, sharing the risk, or retaining risk by informed decisions. Next is opportunity can lead to adoption of new practices, launching new products. How can we achieve the opportunities? By the new practices, launching new products, opening new market, addressing new clients, building partnership, using new technologies or other desirable and viable possibility to address the organizations or its customer needs. Next is 6.2, that is quality objectives and planning to achieve them. 6.21, organization shall establish quality objective as relevant function, level and processes needed for the quality management system. The objectives shall be considered with the quality policy, be measurable, take into account applicable requirement, be relevant to conformity of product and services, be monitors, be communicated, be updated at appropriate. We organization shall maintain documented information on quality objective also. Planning of changes. When the organization determine the needs for changes, the changes shall be carried out in a planned manner. First is organization shall consider the purpose of the changes, their potential consequences, integrity of the QMS, and the availability of the resources, the allocation or reallocation of responsibility and authorities. Next clause is 7, that is support. Support clause have 5 sub clauses. First is resources, second is competency, third is awareness, fourth is communication, and fifth is documented information. Now we are going to discuss about first subclass, that is 7.1, that is resource. 7.1, resource. 7.11 is general requirement of resources. The organization shall determine the provide resources needed for the establish, implement, maintain, and continual improvement of the quality management system. Organization shall consider capability and consistent constraints on existing internal resources. What need to be obtained from external provider? And 712 is that is also requirement of resources, that is people. Organization shall determine provide person necessary for effective implementation of QMS. Infrastructure organization shall determine provide maintain infrastructure needed for the operation of the processes and achieve conformity of the product and services. Infrastructure can include buildings and associated utilities and equipment, including hardware and software, transportation resources, informations and communication technologies. Next is 714, that is environment for the operation of processes. The organization shall determine, provide, maintain environment necessary for the operation of the processes to achieve conformity of product and services. A suitable environment can be combination of human and physical factors such as social, psychological, physical. These factors can differ. Sustainability depend on the product and services provided. 715, that is monitoring and measuring resources. That is 751 is general requirement. The organization shall determine and provide the resources needed to ensure valid and reliable result when monitoring and measuring is used to verify the conformity of the product and services to requirement. The organization shall ensure that the resources provided are suitable for specific type of monitoring and measuring activity being undertaken, are maintained to ensure their continuing fitness for their purpose. The organization shall retain appropriate documented information as evidence of the fitness of the purpose of the monitoring and measurement resources, that is calibration certificate. Means we should maintain the calibration certificate of the resources and equipments. 716 is organization knowledge. Organization shall determine the knowledge necessary to the operation of its processes to achieve conformity of product and services. Knowledge shall be maintained and be made available to extent necessary when addressing changing needs and trends. The organization shall consider its current knowledge and determine how to acquire or access any necessary additional knowledge and requires update. First is operational. Actually, organizational knowledge is knowledge specific to the organization. It is gained by the experience and it is information that is used and shared to achieve the organization objective. And second is organization knowledge can be based on internal sources and external sources. Second, 7.2 is competency. Means organization shall determine the necessary competency of the person doing work under the control and that affect the performance and effectiveness of humans. Ensure that these persons are competent on the basis of appropriate education, training, and experience. Where applicable, take action to acquire the necessary competence and evaluate effectiveness of the action. Actually retain appropriate documented information as evidence of the competence. And next class is 7.3, that is awareness. Organization shall ensure that the person doing work under the organization control are aware of the quality policy, relative quality objective, their contribution of the effective of the QMS, including the benefit of improved performance and the implications of not conforming with the quality management system requirement. Next class is 7.4, that is communication. Organization shall determine the internal and external communication relevant to quality management system, including on what it will communicate, when we come to communicate, with whom to communicate, how to communicate, and who communicate. And next clause is documented information, that is 751 general requirement. Organization quality management system shall document information required by the international bodies, standard bodies, and documented information determined by the organization is being necessary for the effective work of the humans. And the extent of documented information for a quality management system can differ from one organization to other due to the size of the organization, types of the activity, processes, and product, as well as the services. Complexity of processes and their interactions, the competency of person also. Next is creating and updating. What is the documentation? Creating and updating. How we can create and update? When creating and updating document information, the organization shall ensure appropriate identification and descriptions like title, date, author, and reference number on the document, and format, language, software, graphics. What are the media, paper, or electronics? That should also use as creating and updating, and review the approval of the suitability and adequacies. Control of documented information. Next clause is 753, that is control of documented information. There is subclass 7531, that is documented information by the quality management system and by the international standards shall be controlled to ensure it is available and suitable for use where and when it needed. Second, it is adequately protected from loss of confidentiality and improper use and loss of integrity. And next clause is 7532, for the control of documented information, the organization shall address the following activities as applicable. First is distribution, access, retrieval and use, storage and preservation, including preservation of integrity, control of changes like version control, and retention and disposition of the documentation. And documented information of external origin determined by the organization to be necessary for the planning and operation of the QMS shall be identified, appropriate, be controlled. Access can imply a decision regarding the permission to view the documented information only, or the permission and the authority to view to change the documented informations. Next clause is actually operation. They have seven subclauses. First is operational planning and control. Second is requirement for the product and services. Third is design and development of product and services. And fourth is control of externally provided processes, product and services. And fifth is production and service provision. And sixth is release of product and services. And seventh is control of non-conforming output. That is first subclass, that is personal planning and control. That is organization shall plan, implement and control the processes needed to meet the requirement of the provision of product and services, and to implement the actions determined in class number 6 by determining the requirement for the product and services and stabilizing criteria for the processes, the acceptance of the product and services, determining the resources needed to achieve conformity to the product, implementing control of the processes, determining the keeping documented information. Note, keeping implies both maintaining and the retaining of documented information. Next class is requirement of our product and services. What are the customer communications? 821. Communication with the customer shall include providing information related to product and services, handling inquiries, contracts or orders, including census, obtaining customer feedback relating to product and services, handling or controlling customer properties, stabilizing specific requirement, contingency actions. And 822 is determining the requirement related to product and services. What are the requirements? Requirement for the product and services are defined, including any applicability statutory requirement, means what are the legal requirement. And next is those considered necessary by the organizations, like the organization can meet the claim for the product and services. And next clause is 823, review of requirement related to products and services, that have subclauses, that is 8231, the organization shall ensure that it has ability to meet the requirement for product and services to be offered to customer. The organization shall conduct a review before committing to supply product and services to customer. It includes requirement specified the customer, requirement not stated by the customer but necessary, and requirement specified the organization, statutory and regulatory requirements applicable to the products, and contract or order requirement. These are the requirements. Next is 824, that is changes to requirement for product and services. What are the changes? uh, we need to aware of the changes requirement when requirement for the product and services are changed. Design and development of product and services, that is 83, and 831 is general requirement. Organization shall establish, implement and maintain a design and development processes that is applicable to ensure the subsequent provision of product and services. 832 is design and development planning. How to plan the nature, duration and complexity of the design and development activity, the required process stages and the required design and development verification and validation activity, and required design and development of verification and validation activities. Next is responsibility and authority involved in design and development persons processes, and the internal and external resources needed, and need for involvement of customer, the requirement of subsequent provisions, the level of control expected, the documented information needed. What are the design and development inputs? Means input from the functional and performance requirement, information derived from the previously similar design and development, statutory and regulatory requirement, standard or code of practices that organization had committed to implement, potential consequences of failure due to nature of the product and services. Next is design and development controls. How to control actually verification activities are conducted to ensure that design and development output meet the input requirement. Validation activity are conducted to ensure, means verification and validation both activity conducted. Validation activity are conducted to ensure that the resulting product and services meet the requirement of a specified application or intended use. Any necessary action are taken or problem determined during the review or verification and validation activity. Documented information of these activities retained. Next is 835, that is design and development output. What are the output? Organizations shall ensure that design and development output. First is meet the input requirements. Second is are adequate for the subsequent processes for the provision of product and services. Next is include of reference monitoring and measurement requirement at appropriate. And next is specify the characteristics of product and services. What are the design and development changes? That is class number 836. What are the changes? What are the changes we need to document information on design and development changes, the result of review, authorization of the changes, the action taken to prevent adverse impacts. Next is 8.4, control of externally provided processes, product and services, that is purchase requirement. Means 8.4 is control of externally provided processes, product and services. 841 is general requirement. The organization shall ensure the externally provided processes, product and services conform to requirement. What are the requirement? First is product and services from external provider are intended for incorporation for the organization own product and services. Second is product and services provided directly to the customer by external provider on behalf of the organization. Third one is a process or part of the process is provided by an external provider as a result of a decision by the organization. Next is 842, that is type and extent of control. Organizations shall ensure the externally provided processes, product and services do not adversely affect the organization ability to constantly deliver conforming product and services to its customer. The organization shall, for this, the organization shall ensure the externally provided processes remain within the control of its quality management system, define both control that intends to apply and external provider and those is intend to apply to the resulting output, take into considerations and determine the verification other activity necessary to ensure that the externally provided processes product services meet the requirement. Next is 843, that is information for external provider. What are the informations? First is the processes and product services to be provided, the approval of product and services, methods, processes, equipment, the release of product and services, these require the approval. And third one is competence, including any required qualification of person and external provider interaction with the organization, control and monitoring of the external provider performance to be applied by the organization, and verification of validation activity that the organization or its customer intended to perform at external provider premises. Next is 8.5, that is production and service provision. What are the provisions? And it has sub clauses. 851, that is control of production and service provision. First is the availability of the documented information that define the characteristic of the product to be produced and the result are to be achieved. And V is the availability and use of the suitable monitoring and measuring resources, the implementations of monitoring and measurement activities are appropriate stages, and the uses of suitable infrastructure and environment for the operation of the processes, and the appointment of competent person including any required qualification, the validation and periodic revalidation of the ability to achieve planned result of the processes for the production and service provision, and the implementation of action to prevent human errors, and the implementation of release, deliver and post delivery activities. Next is 852, that is identification and traceability. How we can identify it and traceable if any problem happen to customer end, that we need to develop a back traceability system. Means if problem occur at customer end, we need to tracing back. First is the organization shall use suitable means to identify output when it is necessary to ensure that conformity of product and services. Organization shall identify the status of output with respect to monitoring and measurement requirement through provision. Organization shall control the unique identification of outputs when traceability is requirement and shall retain the documented information necessary to ensure traceability. Next clause is 853, that is property belonging to customer or external provider. What are the property belonging to customer? That is customer tools, maybe customer parts, maybe customer some fixtures customer provided, some mating parts are provided by the customer, that is the property of the customer. And what are the external property? They are providing some fixtures, tools, gauges, that is the external provided, and like some mating parts. Yeah, the organization shall exercise and care with the property belonging to customer or external provider. Organization shall identify, verify, protect, safeguard customer or external provider property provided for use or incorporation of the product and services. When property of customer or external provider is lost, damaged, or otherwise found to be unsuitable to use, the organization shall report this to the customer or external provider and retain documented information on what has occurred. A customer or external provider property included materials, means some materials like some component, tools or equipment, premises, intellectual property and personal data, means some data they are providing. Next clause is 854, that is preservation. Preservations means preservation can include identification, handling, contamination control, packaging, storage, transmissions or transportations, and protection. Means shelf life, handling, identification, traceability, that is come under the preservation. Like packaging details, like storage detail, that's come under preservations. Next clause is 855, that is post delivery activity. After delivery to customer end products, means what action, what requirement we need to fulfill. That is, first is statutory and regulatory requirement. Second is potential undesired consequences associated with its product and the nature and the use intended lifetime of its product and services, and customer requirement and customer feedbacks. These are the necessary activities. Next class is control of changes. What are the changes we need to controls? Means review of changes, the person authority, the change or any necessary action arises from the review. Next is release of the product and services. The organization shall implement planned arrangement at appropriate stages to verify that the product and services requirement have met. The release of product and services to the customer shall not proceed until the planned arrangement have been given and satisfactory completed unless otherwise approved by the relevant authority as applicable by the customer. The documented information shall include evidence of conformity with acceptance criteria and the traceability to person authorizing the release. Next is control of non-conforming outputs, means control of NC product. How we can control, what are the procedure, what are the flow, what are the method we are using in control of non-conforming output. We have the system. The organization shall deal with non-conformity output in one or more of the following ways. First is correction. We should do the correction on that process. And second is segregation, contamination, return or suspension or provision of product and services, and informing the customer. And fourth one is obtaining the authorization for acceptance under concession if uh, customer are agreed. Next clause is performance evaluation. They have actually three subclauses. First is the monitoring, measurement, and evaluation, and the second is the internal audit, and third is the management review meeting. That is management review. And first is monitoring, measurement, analysis, and evaluation. What are the general requirement of monitoring, measurement, analysis, and evaluation? First is the organization shall determine what need to be monitored and measured. The method for monitoring, measurement, analysis, and evaluation need to be ensure valid result. When monitoring and measuring shall be performed, and when the result from monitoring and measurement shall be analyzed and evaluated. Next is 912 customer satisfaction. Customer satisfaction, the organization shall monitor customer perceptions, means customer satisfaction record, customer satisfaction survey forms, customer ratings of the degree to which their need and expectation have been fulfilled. The organization shall determine the method of obtaining, monitoring, and reviewing this information. By the example of monitoring, customer perception can include customer survey, customer feedback, delivery product, customer rating, meeting with the customer, market share analysis, compliance, warranty claim, and dealer reports. And next class is 913. This is analysis and evaluation. How we can analysis and evaluations. The result of analysis shall be used to evaluate conformity of product and services, degree of the customer satisfaction, and the performance and effectiveness of QMS system. Next, if planning has implemented effectively, the effectiveness of action taken to address risk and opportunity, performance of external provider, the need for improvement to QMS. Method to analyze data can include statistical techniques. By statistical techniques. Next class is internal audit, and there is subclass 921 that the organization shall conduct internal audits at planned interval to provide information on whether the quality management system conform to the organization own requirement for its QMS and the requirement of this quality management system standard, and is effectively implemented and maintained. And next subclass is 922, that is organization shall plan, establish, implement, maintain, and audit program, including the frequency, method, responsibility, planning requirement, and reporting, which shall take into consideration the importance of the processes, concern, changes affecting the organization, and the result of previous audits. What are the result? Define the audit criteria and scope of each audit. Select auditors and conduct audits to ensure objectivity and the impartiality of the audit processes ensure that the result of the audits are reported to relevant management and take appropriate corrections and corrective actions without undue retain documented information as evidence of the implementation of the audit take correct undue delay, and that result we should need to discuss in management review meeting, that is the 9.3 and their general requirement 931. The top management shall review the organization quality management system, its planned internal, to ensure continuity, suitability, adequacy, effectiveness, and alignment with the strategic direction of the organizations. What are the inputs in management review? The status of the action from previous management review, the changes in external and internal issues, and information performance and effectiveness of QMS, and customer satisfaction, feedback from relevant interested party, distance to which quality objective have been met, and process performance and conformity of product and services, non-conformity and corrective actions. What are the non-conformity happened and what corrective action we have taken, that need to discuss in management review meeting. Monitoring measurement result, what are the audit result, means what are the internal audit result, what are the external audit results, what are the customer result, what are the certification result, we need to discuss in management review meeting as management review inputs. And the performance of external provided, adequacy of resources, what resources we need to take to attain the competency of the QMS, what resources required to maintain the quality management system, and the effectiveness of action taken to address risk and opportunity for improvement. What are the management review output, means 933 explain the management review outputs. What are the outputs? First is opportunity for improvement and any need for changes to QMS, and what are the resources needed to maintain this QMS. The organization shall retain documented information evidence of the result of management review. Next clause is, that is improvement. There have three subclauses. First is general requirement of improvement. Second is non-conformity and corrective action. What are the non-conformity happened and what are their corrective actions? And 10.3 is continual improvement. First is general requirement of improvement. What are the requirement, means like example of improvement can be included correction, corrective action, what are the continual improvement, what are the breakthrough changes, what are the innovations and reorganizations, data and their analysis. And next is the conformity and corrective action. And there is subclass 10.2.1. When a non-conformity happen, including any arising from complaints by the organization, shall react to that non-conformity as applicable and evaluate the need for the action to eliminate the causes of non-conformity in order that it does not recur or occur elsewhere. And next is implementing why any action needed and review the effectiveness of any action taken, update risk and opportunity determined during the planning if necessary, and make changes to quality management system if necessary, and corrective actions shall be appropriate to the effect of the non-conformity encountered. Next is 10.2.2, that is organization shall retain documented information evidence of nature of non-conformity and any subsequent action taken the result of any corrective actions. And next clause is 10.3, that is continual improvement, that is organization shall continually improve the suitability, adequacy, and effectiveness of the QMS. The organization shall consider the result of analysis evaluation and the output from management review to determine there are needs or opportunity that shall be addressed as a part of continual improvement. Continual improvements means improvement like correction, corrective actions, like preventive actions, like repair, reworks, and like reorganization, that is part of the improvements. Thank you. Thank you so much. This is the complete video of ISO 9000 2015, means ISO 9000 fifth version.